Good evening, everyone. Good evening. This is Gary from 𝗬𝗺𝗵𝗵𝗁 again. How have everyone been? How has everyone been? Okay, I hope you all had a great working week. Thursday until Tuesday today. I understand tomorrow is a public holiday, a Labour's Day for most of us, those who are in employment, and for those who are resting tomorrow. I hope you have a restful, long weekend. All right. So as you all, some of you have been following my channel. Today, Thursday, is what I call as a threshold Thursday. Right. So now, this past week I've been talking a lot about something that many people are feeling right now, but not many are able to explain it clearly. Most people are earning, most people are working hard. On paper, things look okay, but in reality, it feels tighter. The wallet feels a bit tighter, and it feels heavier in terms of pressure wise, and you also feel like something is off. And if you've been feeling that, you're not imagining, rest assured, and you're not alone. Just this week alone, two stories went viral. Two stories that I shared. One man earning about 15,000 ringgit a month, yes, 15,000 ringgit a month, chose to walk away from his job and became a gig worker because the pressure was too much for him. He chose to retain his so-called mental health, okay, and at the expense of the huge income, right? Another man with almost 1 million ringgit in savings, and yet he says he doesn't even know what's he building his life for anymore. Now think about it for a moment. One has income but no sustainability. One has saving but no direction. So ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this question. If income and savings were the answer, why are both still struggling? Of course, some of you will be thinking, okay, I wish if they are so unhappy and all that, why don't they give the income to me? Why don't they give the money to me? Hold on a second. As we explore further on, you realize that my question here is pertinent. So let me repeat my question. If income and savings were the answer, why are both still struggling? You see, here's the part most people didn't realize. This is no longer just about how much you earn. And it's also no longer about discipline. Even the chief statistician, as I've shared on the news today, recently said savings today is getting harder and harder. Why? Because the system has changed. Everything is now instant, frictionless, and effortless. Unlike those days, if you want to buy things in order, sometimes you have to take out cash. And it's also, you'll be able to feel it. In this case, because of this new modern era, okay, through e-payments, look, let me clarify first, I'm not blaming on e-payments and all that, but I would like you to see a pattern. In 𝗬𝗺𝗵𝗵𝗁, we always go for pattern recognitions. Because when you spend nowadays, you don't feel money leaving anymore. It's either you just scan and tap and all that. And when spending becomes effortless, we let our guards down, and savings has to become more intentional. Convenience feels good in the moment, but over time, it quietly erodes one thing: your stability. And would you like to know the scariest part? Come. The scariest part is most of it happens by choice. Yes, like it or not, whether we consciously or subconsciously, okay, realize it or not, we are the ones who actually chose this, made the choice. So what's really happening here? It's not an income problem, rest assured. It's a structure problem. Now, if you pay attention carefully, you realize that this is a structure problem because right now, most people are living with no real buffer. And there's no system holding things together. And the worst part is, most of us are still on one single source of income. You see, COVID has taught us a very powerful lesson. The COVID pandemic has taught us a very powerful lesson that You can't just rely on one source of income. So you see, when the pressure builds up, most people feel it immediately. Discipline used to be built into the system. Now, you have to build it yourself. And this is where it gets real. Most people think that they haven't decided yet. They say, well, I'll figure out later. I'll start when things settle down. But here's the truth. You have already decided. Because every day when you choose to delay, you actually choose to stay exposed. And you choose to let things continue as they are. In short, you are letting your life decide for yourself rather than you deciding for your life. And this is the dangerous part. When something shifts, the decision gets made for you, whether you like it or not. So the question is not whether this matters. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Because control doesn't come from trying harder. Really, it doesn't come from trying harder. When you try harder, it's just based on your willpower. But it comes from building better, intentionally. Yep, let me repeat that. It comes from building better. Yes, building better intentionally. And this is exactly what I help people to do. I help Malaysian professionals and business owners regain control of their finances, directions, and also income through a clear structure, one decision at a time. If something this week made you pause, made you think, or even make you uncomfortable, don't ignore that. That's your signal. Because the people who turn things around are not necessarily the smartest and are not necessarily even the highest earners. They are the ones who have decided before they were forced to. So this week wasn't random. Pressure, confusion, then clarity. Now comes the decision. What are you going to do with it? This is 𝗬�59 signing off from Reason from Ashes. I am going to have a Sunday preview at 8:30 this Sunday. Yeah, mark your calendars. Maybe this is the time that you need an honest conversation with yourself, and I'm opening up a room for you by then. Come, let's have an honest conversation. Let's confront the issue that you may or may not have thought about. Once again, thank you for tuning in. I wish you a restful weekend. Thank you.